Hello, welcome to The Lost Causes of Orlando, a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, with our lovely vampires this evening, or soon to be vampire, shall I say. Would you two like to introduce yourselves?
I guess I'll go first. We'll be introducing our character, mainly.
Um, if you would think it would be appropriate to introduce yourselves first, go on ahead. But yes, introduce your characters is the very important part.
Alright. The name's Edwin Sungjin. You don't need to know much about me, and nor will I care to share much about myself with you. But remember my name, and we should get along famously.
And for you, Luna.
What's good? Lunonic Ursa Celine. Well, pretty much just your carefree one around vampire. And just like you could say, I have a way with things. And the thing of ways.
All right. Um, that will work. Uh, so Luna is playing a character called Omar Luna Mason,
Oh, right. Omar.
uh, who is at the beginning of this prologue quite unusual. He is what we call a garou, a werewolf. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you said that you were a hacktivist.
Yes.
Don't worry, dearie. I wasn't expecting this to be really polished, considering how little time I had to prep you. Uh, so as we begin the evening in the Orlando Urban Center, both of you have been brought to this moment for similar but opposed reasons. Edwin, you woke up this morning, you found that you have been burned. Your contacts don't know you. Your normal lineup of jobs never heard of you. And yet, on your desk was a letter embroidered with a crown that you know that you didn't put there.
I'll go take a look at it then.
As you open it up and read it, you have been offered a job as involving a tech data collection company called Omniscient. Omniscient, you've heard of through your work as a corporate spy. They specialize in data collection and distribution of activists, dissidents, and other assorted figures to military uh, operations as well as dictatorships. And they make quite a little money, and their native North American data center happens to be in Orlando. Last time you checked, the job on your desk seems to be from a very wealthy, very old-moneyed individual. You're not used to penmanship this clean, and you're certainly not used to somebody who hasn't used a word isn't using a word processor to write you. It's a job offer that could set you for life, like billions, potentially. you never have to do this ever again, and you wouldn't have to worry about the fact that you're burned from most of your network. The
I'm going to
task,
look over it. Oh, go ahead.
the task seems to be really straightforward. Sneak in, uh, poison the executives who are visiting the facility, and destroy their data center through a device that is actually uh, in a box next to this letter. As you read that little description, you see that notice the box, of course. So the letter explains that the device, is a singularity EMP device that also acts as a fast Wi-Fi data transfer of the data, and basically what they're trying to do is take all the data but destroy the original source. You're very familiar with these kinds of jobs. But what you're not used to is how big of a price tag they're offering you for it.
Means there's a catch to it.
Omar,
Mhm.
you are at a meeting place. Not quite public, but also not quite private either. A dingy bar with your pack. They've been discussing plans to host a protest concert at Omniscience uh, North American Data Center as a smokescreen to allow your pack to enter Omniscient and cause as much damage as possible.
Hmm. Pretty much look at the rest and say, well, how are we looking, guys?
Well, things could be better. Uh, with the this new batch of hunters that have been springing up all across the world, things aren't exactly doing their best now, are they?
Well, what do you is expected? I mean, we're not ready. We're not really assuredly know what our opponents are up to. So hopefully, with the data mining that we're going to do, we'll be able to get a much more bigger jump on what they're planning.
That is the
Then,
hope.
but then we got to make sure that not only do we gain the data, but we leave a little surprise for them. If you get my meaning.
Yeah. Collects the data, destroy the building. Omniscient loses a lot of stock value, and we know who is hunting some of us and why they're hunting some of us.
Bingo.
Yes, yes. You make it sound so simple.
Well, the simple part would be us just going in, turning the place upside down, and then getting what we want. But let's not forget, we're supposed to be quiet about it.
Yeah, let's not draw too much attention. We don't need a bunch of a bunch of licks and a bunch of humans going crazy and trying to figure out where we are. We aren't
Hmm,
we aren't the wild hunt who just stirs shit up around town constantly.
true, but has has anyone actually been sensing the wild hunt been around? As we all know that they love to cause mischief anytime they get their paws in a tizzy.
Well, last thing what I heard, their leader, Edge Dancer, was on a motorbike not too far away from where we're setting up operations. But I don't think they're interested in data. They're interested in mayhem.
Maybe that's actually what we need. Divide our opponent's attention, get and give us double the opportunities.
Right? So,
One of you got. I want one of you to actually define the Wild Hunt leader. Let them know that we're looking to give them the opportunity to stick it to our enemy. And all they have to do is host a little riot away from civilians.
alright. Shadowfang, your ragabash of your assorted pack of rejects and outsiders have chimed in. I can do that. Getting people to act in their own interests or the exact opposite therein is kind of my specialty. Also putting knives in backs, but that's another thing altogether.
Precisely.
And he just leaves with the other two in tow. Oh, and my sister says hi.
Hmm? Oh, yeah. Tell her I say hello.
Oh, I'm sure she'll find you eventually. She really doesn't know how to pick 'em. Anyway,
Well, she does want to mate with me, so it can't be helped.
it happens. It happens. Anyway, bye. And they actually leave properly.
Mm-hmm.
And as the night grows darker, plans have been made. The both of you end up in one place, omniscient. Yet your reasons be different. You're ultimately here for the same end goal. Edwin,
Mm-hmm.
you as you've went through your usual proceedings, mock interview, doing your usual guile, you've gotten in as an intern, responsible for a coffee run. Oddly convenient for your predicament, actually.
And let me guess. The coffee run is for the people that I need to go after?
Indeed.
I'll make it easy. I'll go along with it then.
There happens to be a really close by hotel, the Hyatt Regency, that has a Starbucks on the first floor.
We'll make sure then to memorize their orders, head on over to the Starbucks, and bring my own ingredient along on the way there.
And then that is where you meet a lovely, energetic nighttime barista. Her name tag says Hannah. She follows your instructions to the letter and even gets the names right, which is extremely unusual for a Starbucks employee. Have a good day, sir.
And you have a pleasant evening yourself. And just out of, no, I wouldn't. Anyway, yeah, I will head on my way out.
And
As I'm. Oh, go ahead.
as you return, you notice that there appears to be a soundstage being set up outside of the offices with what appears to be a punk rock band in unusual garb. In fact, they look like dog men, kinda.
Any sort of plans for a music festival outside the building today?
There wasn't any plans for a music festival at all, actually. In fact, most of the crowd, aside from the soundstage people and people getting the show ready, seem to be like black bloc attired people, masks, uh, rebreathers, gas masks, all in black, no distinguishing characteristics, all that sort of thing. Your usual protesters who know that what they're dealing with, that sort of thing.
Hmm. Another convenient timing. And I'll say on the way over, I slipped what I needed to slip into the coffees for the people I needed to take out.
All right. And as you do that, Omar, your pack's
Hmm.
on the scene and you're on standby. The Wild Hunt has oddly agreed to this plan a little too easily, and between the normal human protesters, the concert, the Wild Hunts causing a disturbance in the area, you guys pretty much effortlessly slip into the building at this point. As you start hearing the sounds of the first guitar riffs, the door shuts.
We turn around to see who shut the door so loud. Jeez, can't you? Who do I see?
You see a bunch of office workers going about their day, security people.
Anything else?
One moment. Yeah, it's just normal office workers. A lot of them seem to be just going about their day, and they, a lot of them look at you with some level of caution, but nobody's really reacted yet because you're in the lobby.
Good. Well, all right, guys. You know what to do. Let's try to keep it blend in, and if you see anything odd, do what you can to not attract any attention.
And as you say this, you see a thin red line in the air. Almost like a laser, slowly leveraging itself right at your good old friend Shadowfang.
Shadow, be careful and don't panic.
And as you say that, pata, 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 you notice that the security grates shut down on the entrance.
Oh, wait a minute. This This is not going at all the way we planned.
And as you say that, you hear a voice in your head. I do apologize for what's going to happen this evening. I require you to be at your best potential for the things to come, and that requires hardship.
The only person I think it could. In my head, I'm thinking that's got to be Gaia, but
You've been hearing a voice a lot lately, often making apologies to you, grand and somber, but always trying to explain away some manner of horrible action that is transpiring in your life. But you've never been able to identify where it's coming from.
hmm.
And as the shutters make their final click, clack, click, clack, signifying they have officially been fully sealed, you notice fire in the building. Not just any fire, though. A green malachite colored fire.
Oh shit.
And you notice that a lot of the people are still at their desks, working, working, as if they're entirely unaware of the fire that's actively consuming some of them at this point. You don't hear no screams, just the smell of charcoaling flesh.
Hmm. Well, do I recognize at all what the scent, what the possible scent is?
You have smelt this sulfury scent before. Often when you've heard this voice,
Mm-hmm.
you think that the smell is wormish, of decay, of corruption, of the end of things. And yet, something is off about it. And you don't know quite what. But what you can say is you feel it is utterly otherworldly.
Hmm. Well, that definitely is something I was not expecting. All right, everyone, be careful and be wary. We are not in the best light.
Indeed, we are not. Well, if you happen to be, if we all don't make it, just know that my sister really likes you.
I know. Unless you want to be with a wolf like me, that's the question. All right, let's worry about that later. First, we need to get out of here.
Yes, let's get out of here. And as your group, your pack, go up through the building, trying to find anything that resembles a way to leave. Edwin.
Yes.
You've poisoned the coffees, and you have started to see them sit down for the meeting.
Do I know if I need a different sort of ID, some sort of clearance for me to access the area I need to get to?
I would say that by this point, with your skill set, you've probably managed to bamboozle at least one of the security people and snatch their card.
Alright. Do I have something that can get past a password?
Actually, in your kit that you have, there is the lock-picking gun, which could short-circuit the door if it was used incorrectly.
Okay.
Do you want to roll for it?
Not right now, only whenever I am going to fully take the data then destroy it.
Alright. And Omar, as you're heading up the stairs, you see a red suit-vested gentleman with thick-rimmed glasses, perfectly coiffed appearance, starting to mess around with the door. And you notice that somebody's trailing behind him with black raven hair and two very well-made magnum pistols that look like meteorite. She appears to be of Castilian Spanish descent.
Well, this ought to be interesting. I follow them.
And as you approach, you feel time slow down to a crawl, actually. As you, within a second's time, she lifts one of the magnums in your direction and pulls the trigger.
Well, question outside the game.
Yes.
No, shouldn't mind. I'll go ahead. How do I see this all happening? So now I'm trying to evade.
I would like you to roll dexterity as well as athletics to do a dodge.
Well,
I do have a question for you, though. Are you dodging in the way of the bullet, or are you dodging away from the bullet?
The best way would be dodging away to the side, away from the bullet, while at the same time trying to go faster to the person to stop them.
So, you're on a flight of stairs, and you're dodging to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Roll dexterity and athletics. You do that.
do I
You
do?
do that by clicking on the athletics skill, and then a menu should pop up that lets you pick an attribute.
Mm,
Do you see it?
click on athletics.
Yes.
Okay.
And then a menu should pop up that tells you what attributes you can select from. Select dexterity and press confirm.
Okay. Um,
Alright. So you successfully go dodge and lean into the staircase. Much to your misfortune, it turns out that they weren't actually aiming for you. As you hear a guttural, sickening crunch.
Hmm.
And the smell of a very argentum scent. Silver.
They're firing silver bullets.
And as you hear that guttural crunch, the person in your pack who's the most quietest screams. Firefang, whose brother's a doctor. And you notice that Emerald, your mentor, who has been married to a teacher for as long as you've known him, his head is just gone.
Well, that is one. Well, I guess how far is the person away from me?
The girl or the man?
The one who fired the shot.
The woman with the raven hair is all the way down the hall. And is looking at you entirely blasé to the situation. And she utters the phrase, "If I didn't have debts to pay, I wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be dead, friend."
Hey.
Oh, and you, the tall one with the blue hair, you're also being hunted, but not by me. That's the last bit of help I'm getting you.
Well, you just killed my mentor, so I hate to see what you look like when you're trying not to help me.
Anyway, and Edwin, you hear this right as you go to finish the improvised breaking down of a door. Could you roll dexterity and larceny for me with your special dice pool?
The lockpicking one?
Yeah.
What's the difficulty?
The difficulty is how many successes you need. I will tell you that at the time that you roll. So go ahead and roll. You miraculously blitz through that door and get to the other side. but not before you notice through the corner of your eyes that the shadows in the room are moving as the door clicks shut, and you see a very bright, almost melting effect on the door.
That's not good. Does it seem like that the door is being sealed shut?
That is what's happening to you.
Is there any other avenue for escape?
You see a few ventilation shafts above you. It is a server room after all. But aside from that, you are at your objective. Do you want to fulfill the mission, or do you want to bolt?
Can I set the device up to start its progress to fulfill my mission, and then head towards the ventilation shafts to see if I can get the grates off them?
Alright. I would say that you could probably pry it open with a solid athletics check. Let's go with strength athletics.
I
mean, not all things that you're gonna have to do are gonna be things you're good at.
Oh, I know.
With one success, you manage to slowly pry the door off, but not all the way.
Can I at least fit through it?
You can fit your head through it.
Use
for
my
now.
walk. Do I have anything I can use to undo screws? Like a coin or something?
I think I could say that you have a coin or two.
Alright. Since usually ventilation grates have screwdrivers keeping them in, I'm just going to unscrew the rest.
Alright. And while this is happening, Omar, you notice that the lady with the really fancy magnums made out of star metal just straight up disappears.
Can I pick up her scent at all?
Unfortunately, the fire is raging behind you. You can attempt to do so with a wits and awareness roll if you want to try, but it will be pretty difficult.
Okay, well, Well, our major goal is to complete this mission, so we continue on we push forward, but I let the others know. I tell the others, I want you guys to get to safety. I'll handle the rest from here.
Alright. So, you see them depart, and as they head down the staircase, you see, for a split second, a white-haired, almost angel-esque gentleman and then as you do, and then that split second you feel an overwhelming sensation of pleasure that almost incapacitates you. The voice in your head begins to chime again. I am sorry, my future protege. This has to be done for your best interest. And from behind you, you see a hand flicker forward with blood covering it, as the blood crescendos toward your remaining pack mates, and it begins to turn into that malachite green fire.
No, 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 no.
You hear their screams. They don't even have time to shapeshift into the war form, as the most horrifying amalgamation of corruption, burn runes. They don't die quickly, but they are in so much pain that they can't move. And then you are left there with this imposed pleasure, watching as your closest friends die. And slowly, you lose consciousness.
No. How close am I to passing out?
As your last drips of consciousness and start to leave you, this almost angelistic white-skinned hand covered in blood begins to bring its palm to your mouth, pressing firmly, ensuring that the blood starts to drip in your mouth.
What are you?
And then it hits you. A euphoric taste, better than anything you've ever tasted. You feel like Gaia herself is inside your body. And yet, it's hollow. Extremely hollow. Like you're being violently ripped away from everything you've ever known. As your last flickers of consciousness leave your body and you go limp.
E. This is. Nah.
And Edwin,
Yes.
you hear the sounds of a struggle outside the door you've been sealed behind. Burning, screaming, all that. As the shadows behind you and around you seem to encroach upon you, actually rather rapidly. What do you do?
Fuck, fuck, fuck. I'm gonna try to struggle out of the shadows, of course.
Yes. Uh, are you trying to flee or are you trying to wiggle your way from whatever this is?
Yeah, probably trying to more so slip out of the grasp of it. Was I able to get any progress on the vent?
I would like you to roll a larceny check without your special dice, please.
Okay. So just dexterity larceny?
Yes. You doing okay there?
Yeah, it's just Forge. I've used Foundry once, and for some reason to click which one. Let me see.
You click the skill first, and then the attribute in the.
There we go.
Yeah. Don't worry. These are growing pains. So with 2 successes, I'd say that you were able to get the bolts off quick enough to start entering it. And
Is the way that I can quickly snatch the box on my way out.
you may try to do that. Would you like to roll in athletics and dexterity?
I mean, technically, I fulfilled my job of destroying the original copies.
True.
They didn't say I had to deliver it. They said I had basically had to copy it back on, do a quick network transfer with it. They didn't say I had to bring the box back undamaged, or bring the box back at all. So I'll just flee.
Ah, I picked a good one. Quite impressive. As you hear a very familiar voice that you've heard not more than minutes ago. That can't be right, can it? The door's sealed, and you were the only one in the room when the door got sealed, out from under you.
Someone watching me from the camera room now. I'm looking around to see if there's any cameras or speakers and such.
You don't see anyone around you, but the shadows keep getting closer and closer to you.
I'm going to hop up into the vent while pulling out my phone to create a flashlight to eliminate any shadows.
So you're using the phone as a flashlight?
Yep.
As you do that, you get a split-second look at what appears to be a woman's silhouette. As you hear a loud, sickening thud as the grate behind you gets taken all the way off instead of just merely twisted off to where it can be slid down. You know, like the quick and dirty method of opening. It gets, as you hear this sickening crunch of the grate fully getting lifted off of the hole from behind you. What do you
Mm-hmm.
do with that information?
So the silhouette, the woman is before me.
What appears to be a silhouette of a woman is in front of you, and behind you, you hear the sickening crunch of the one uh
The tentacles and
latch.
such.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one latch on that grate that you were doing that was still on there, crunch and bend.
I will then continue pushing forwards, pushing the woman aside if need be, or just flat out saying, "Why are you here as well?
Oh, I'm here for you.
Are you
Well,
my employer?"
hmm, technically not. But I am recruiting you from something, whether you want me to or not. Don't worry, it's the most fun job, at least for the first century. Have fun, and you hear the the sound of shredding metal as something collides with your head.
Ha! Great head trauma.
And as you're knocked to the ground, you hear the clicking of heels as the female form heads closer to you and picks you up surprisingly effortlessly. Like you weigh like a napkin at a really bad restaurant. The kind that like you actively disdain. And as you come to, you are filled with an unnatural sensation of pleasure. Sense, rather, the most delicious thing you've ever had in your mouth. Come on now, drink.
Ooh, the second she said drink, I'm whipping my head to the side and spitting out.
Do you Are you resisting this properly, or are you just trying to spit it out?
Yeah, basically just trying to spit whatever she was putting in my mouth out, like full on my body. The second she said, "Drink this," is now focused on getting whatever she's wanting to make me drink out of my body and not obeying to her whims.
Oof. You're gonna hate me when I roll this. Oh, fuck. So, what happens when you try to spit it out? You feel your bottom jaw tense up and not quite snap, but it's much looser. As you know that like surgical procedure where like you are forced to swallow something by like unhinging yourself, your jaw, just so
No,
some
I'm not familiar with it, but I'm assuming you're talking about like the tetanus treatment.
like that thing that they do when they're like trying to like ventilate you, like
Hmm.
that. Uh, you feel like her hand is doing that to your throat. Like you're not being given the option. Her hand is just straight up in your throat. Come on now. You surely you knew by the time I picked you up that you weren't getting out of this alive. Well, good news is you're not going to stay dead if you be a good boy.
Ain't much I can do right now.
And as you do that, as this inefficient resistance comes to a close, your vision blurs and you slowly lose consciousness, lost in an unholy, hollow pleasure. And you lose. And as your last bits of consciousness fade, the upload reaches 100%. Mission accomplished.
Where's my money?
Bitch, better have my money.
That's my money and I want it now.
uh, Good to see that I'm having the tonality that I want of it, like kind of being No Country for Old Men if it was directed by Suda 51. And as the night progresses with your unconscious forms, you slowly come to, but you notice that you can't move at all. You're aware of your surroundings, you're aware of where you've been, but for whatever reason, you can't move.
I move my eyes to see if I'm restrained in any way.
Your eyes can't move, but as you look in your periphery, you notice that there's a giant hunk of wood sticking out of your chest.
That should leave me dead, and yet I'm alive.
And Omar, as you come to, you find yourself in a very similar predicament.
Mm-hmm.
There's a giant piece of wood in your chest, right where your heart should be, and you can't move. In your peripheries, you see what looks to be a very beaten up mailman with a piece of wood sticking out of his chest, and the businessman you saw literally just this night in a very similar position that you find yourself in a room with centered with a throne currently unoccupied, made of the most exquisite silks and wood trimmings. Looking above you, as this comes to your awareness, Omar, you hear the very familiar voice in your head once more. I know that you will resent what I've done to you, and I do not blame you. In fact, I encourage you to foster that feeling. However, if you want to get out of this alive, or unalive, shall I say, and don't want to meet the sun, I strongly advise you listen to every bit of advice that I give you this evening, unless you don't want to continue living.
I think about hearing it, it's like, shit. There's only one thing that could do this, and only one set of things that could be responsible for. And damn it, how do I even explain this to myself that. Fuck. Alright. Alright. First thing is first, I am not going crazy. Second, whoever did this, you're a son of a biscuit eater. And third, I need to really think about what I'm going to do next. Because this is going to go bad real fast if I fuck it up.
And you notice that you feel this connection to a primordial sense of knowledge, place of knowledge, dark, profane knowledge, as you realize that you know how to do a lot of stuff that is frankly terrifying that you never knew how to do before. And
Okay.
one of the first flashes of thought in your mind is something that looks like a dog, but very obviously is not a dog. The unholy impersonation of a dog, with features of a man and a beast.
Oh
And
no, it's a furry.
you think you would know how to make one of these if given time.
Hmm.
And you also get the sense that you know how to create, at least on a small scale, the kind of fires that engulfed that building and your friends. What unholy sorcery has been put through you? Who knows? And we will find out in episode 1 of The Lost Causes of Orlando. Thank you and good evening. Now, how do you guys feel about your experience with being embraced?
Edwin's angry. Very angry.
And for you, Omar, Luna,
Let's see. Because of two reasons. One, me being a vampire regardless, I don't feel anger. And number two, I feel more of a. I feel more. What's the word I'm looking for? But I feel more like I'm in tune with myself.
so the feeling of having everything that you've known before severed from you has brought in you a sense of closure. Is that what I'm getting?
Pretty much.
Interesting. Um, any concerns that you have for me while I have you here? 'Cause I understand that this was quite rough, uh, given the amount of prep that I was able to personally put the two of you through.
Oh,
That's fine.
I'm cool.
Alrighty, that's good. Next week, uh, pending any goofy scheduling issues, should be our final prologue featuring the lovely DJ Atomica and Gobdad playing the roles of. Checks my notes because I have the memory of a fucking goldfish. Alan Chen, a social media drama reporter, and Arlo Cirrus Brewer, a dropout uh, chemist and philosopher turned party child.
The way you said "gob dad" had like the same energy as like the top text bottom text meme, where it was like "gob dad, gob dad."
I mean, he is kind of like, as far as I'm aware, the oldest one of the characters in this group.
Uh,
Somehow.
old.
So, with that, I bring this to a close. Normal sessions will last a lot longer than this, but prologues, it's really hard to stretch a prologue, really.
Yeah.
So I thank you all for joining me. Don't worry, it's only going to be like 3 more hours
Ooh.
than it. This was.
Huh?
Yeah, these were. Yeah. Anyway, I need to do the little outro thingy real quick.